Hi everybody, so this is BAO or Bay Area Older Adults Origami class, part 2 for the dogs. So you can see here for the second part, we're going to do a dog that takes a little more time, that's got some interesting folds in order to get your finished product. It's got a cute little tail, cute little ears, and a cute little nose, and stands really nicely. So let's get started. So the first thing to do with your paper is we want to bring this end of the paper to this end and do a diagonal fold. So bring the two tips together, line them up as best as possible. Pull your finger down to the center and then move your finger out to both sides. Now again, let's make that crease nice and sturdy with your nail. Even if you have short nails like me, you can do that. And open the paper back up again, and we're going to do the exact opposite. We're going to bring this end of the paper up to this end of the paper. Match those two tips. Run your finger down this nice crease that you've already made. Go out from the center on both sides, and you can again use your nail to make that crease nice and tight. Then we're going to open it up, and now we're going to fold 3 of the tips to the center. So let's do this one first. This tip to the very center where the 2 lines intersect. Again, hold it with one finger. Roll your finger down, out on both sides. Crease it again. Now we'll do the next one to the right of it. Bring that up to the center. Bring your finger down and then out from the center. So you may see that, the paper, when we cut it ourselves, is not perfect, so that's not a perfect tip right there. It's okay. Now let's do the next one. Bring this tip to the center. Down to the center and out on both sides. And just make sure you crease that really. So now we're going to flip that over. You got the tip down, or whatever's comfortable for you really. And what we're going to be doing is folding this edge to the center line, lining it up. And what you're going to notice is this will pop out, and that's how you want to do it. So let's line that up. And again, this is like double over here. And it might be a little awkward, so you can hold this lined up to this center line and just use your finger to press down on the paper and use your nail to get that crease in there. And on this end, you've got double the paper, so you just want to press down with your finger and then use your nail there. And then what would be nice is to lift up this piece of paper right here that's in your way and crease this really well underneath here. So you get a really nice crease. Let's do that on the other side. So we're bringing this end to the center. And again, this is going to pop up. Get that out of your way. That's on purpose. If you need to put your finger here to roll it a little better, get that up there. Bring this down with your finger. You can push it out with your finger from the center. But when you get here, you're going to want to just press down with your finger because it's double the thickness, and just do this creasing separately. And again, lift this triangle up and crease what's underneath it really well. Okay. So now we're going to see this. We've got 2 little triangles here. What we're going to do is fold this onto the other triangle. So we're going to take this tip and put it so that it folds right at this line. And that means that you're going to bring this edge to this edge. Like so. So you want to line it up. Try to have as nice a sharp point here as possible. And then again, we'll use our technique to bring it down the center and then use our nail to get that crease really nice and tight. Same thing, symmetrical on the other side. We're basically bringing this edge to line it up with this edge, which is essentially going to close it into a triangle. If you're lefty a little bit, you can do it with your left hand, or you can just turn it around if you want and do it with your right hand if you feel more comfortable. All right, so we got this back up on the top. And now we're going to do something kind of cute, which is you might be able to fit your finger in here, or if you can't, you can always use a pencil. Let's see. A pencil or a pen. Let me get a pen. So you're going to lift up, right? We got these two folded. We're going to lift this up. And you can stick your finger or stick a pen in here. So I'm going to stick my finger, but you could easily stick a pen. And what you're going to do is basically open up this hole and then essentially fold this on top of itself. See that? So let's just do that again at a different angle. You're sticking your finger in there, and basically you could tap this with your finger, and you want this to be over here. So got this over here, and you can just gently press down to get this fold. On this side, crease it really well over here. And let's do that again on this side. Okay, so again, that little triangle you just folded over, you know, if it's hard to get that open with your finger, stick a pen in there. And then lift this end up a little bit. Press down with your finger, and what you want to do is get this little tip over here. So you could leave your finger in there if you want to keep it popped out. And then just lightly press this down and make sure you're getting the right fold. And then once you know you've got it all lined up and it looks good, let's crease it. So this is a kind of interesting looking shape right there. So I kind of like these fun things where you pop it up and fold it back down. So now the next thing is you're going to take this, basically this end, and line it up with this line right here. So what you're going to notice when you do that is we've got that little triangle in the back again. So you can just kind of curve this around with your hand, your fingers I should say, so that this kind of pops up, and you're going to basically align this edge with this. Okay. And again, you know, you might see here, and it might be easier with the pen, that this isn't folding properly. So you want this to be nice and sharp. So you might want to stick your finger in there or nail if you have nails. If you're having any problems, to just make sure you got a nice sharp, see, nice sharp fold there. So you got a nice sharp point. And then just gently press down over here. And once you know you've got a nice fold, you can essentially kind of press down with your nail here to make sure the crease is really good. So we got a funny looking thing here, right? So we can turn this over. Okay, so the next steps are going to be a little bit funky. These are the ones that are tricky compared to the last dog we did. But essentially what you're going to do here is put this edge over here, but you're going to focus on lining up this edge with this edge when you fold it. So we're going to do this. So basically, again, we're lining up this edge with this edge. And the other tricky part is we're not trying to actually make a crease all the way down here. We're just trying to make a crease up until this diagonal. So let's hold it down there and then just press so you know you're doing it with the right crease. And then we can go tighten that crease with the nail. Okay, so again, we're just doing it to this diagonal. Now we're going to open that up and do the same thing on the other side. So again, we're taking this and we're just basically folding it in half. We're matching this, lining up this with this. So let's put that over there. And we're also lining it up obviously with this edge too. And again, we just want it until a crease until this diagonal. So let's just press down. And then once we got that nice crease, then let's make it more solid with the nail. Okay, so we've got now 2 folds. We've got a fold here and a fold here. And you're seeing how when you bring these 2 folds together, this goes together, right? So essentially, now we're just doing a number of folds in order to do our next steps. So you can pinch this together. This is going to come down on the folds we just did. And again, if you want to re-emphasize these creases, great. And then let's just put this part down right now. And then we can put it to the other side and press that down as well. So now we've got this interesting funky shape. So if we put this down towards you, we've got this triangle over here. We've got this kind of body looking thing. What we want to do is flip it over. So now what does it look like? It looks like maybe this could be the tail. Maybe this could be what's going to be the head. Maybe this will be the body. Let's work on that. So the next fold we're going to do is, you see this line right there? We're essentially going to fold this at this crease. And we're going to make that nice and tight with your nail. Now we're going to turn it over and fold this in half. So see that nice crease that we already have? We're basically folding this in half. And then again, let's crease that nicely. Now let's flip that over so this tall part is on the top. So now if you notice, we've got this nice diagonal. And what we want to do with this top that is looking like it's the head, right? So if you look here, we're working on the head now. So focus on this diagonal. What we're going to do is bring this paper and we want to fold it right on that diagonal. Okay? So just do the best you can. And this edge should be aligning with this edge while you're doing that. Okay? So we're folding that. Got a nice sharp point here. It's all aligned here. Press down first. And then you'll really get that crease in well. Now you want to do the same thing fold it over again so that this edge is aligned with this edge and this edge is aligned with this edge. And you also get a nice triangle here. So see, these two edges are aligned, these edges are aligned. Let's just press down to secure this crease. So now we're going to do the same exact thing on the opposite side. So flip this over. And again, what did we do on the other side? We're basically folding this so that we're folding it on top of this diagonal so that this edge gets to this edge. Okay. And let's crease it there. And then again, we're folding right on this edge so that this is lining up with this. And these are all preparatory folds so that we can make this head. And then just crease it there. So the next thing we're going to do is open this up. And because of all these preparatory folds, we basically, when we open it up, we're just going to press down on either side here in order to get, it's kind of like a handmade hat, essentially. So again, let's do that again. So we did all these nice folds to prepare to make this head. So we open it up and you can kind of see it naturally goes this way. If for some reason it doesn't, stick your finger in there. And then we're going to press down on either side so that we got kind of like a little hood here for the dog head. And then crease really well. So it's looking a lot more like the dog, right? You can see here. So the next step is to take this tip and put it down to this tip and make a nice crease there. So this again is just a crease that's going to allow us to make the nose of the dog. Then you're going to take this tip and fold it over. This doesn't have to be precise, but essentially fold it over here so it lines up. Actually, you don't even want it to line up. Basically, just fold it so that it's on a slight angle. So you're getting this kind of shape over here. Doesn't have to be perfect, but you can see on the other side it's essentially looking like this. So this is not exact, it's just so we can make that little pudge nose. See the little pudge nose? Okay, so now we've got a fold here and we've got a fold here. And we're going to hold the doggy ears over here. Stick your thumb in here. And what you see is you've got two folds. One here that we made first, and then we've got these two new folds over here that you want in the other direction so that you can make the little doggy nose. So I didn't make this fold super strong, so let's all do that, make that fold really strong so it makes it easier. So we're opening this up. We got this fold going this way, and then we've got this one going the opposite way. You see that? So again, we folded this direction, and then with this other one, we folded this direction, right? So when we open it up, we can fold this part down, and then this one's going to go up in the opposite direction. So what do you get? You get that little nose for the dog. Maybe I didn't really make the nose big enough. Maybe I should have probably done this second fold a little closer. So let's do that. So now I've got a little bit bigger nose there. So now we're going to do something similar here where we're going to bend the very tip of the nose. And we're essentially going to stub the nose a little bit. So again, we just made the little fold for the tip of the nose, opened it up, and just make it a little pudgy. Okay, so now we've got the dog Pudge Nose. And we have the head that's not quite done and the tail that's not quite done. So this next part with the head is actually the trickiest part of this whole origami dog. So the next fold is going to be pretty simple. We're just going to do this fold from the top of its head. Just do it, you know, take that tip and line it up with the center here. Just don't do too big or too small. A fold over. You could, worst case, you can do it like a little bit more than I did. So let's do it like this. But the most important thing here is to make this fold nice and sturdy, because this is going to be creating this nice little head we have here in the ears, you can see. Alright, so now we've made this nice secure fold. We're going to do it on the other side as well. Okay, make that nice and creasy. So now we've got the hardest part of this origami dog. So we have this fold we did one way, we have this fold we did the other way. That's super important that those are nice and strong. Okay, now what we're going to do is open up the head. Okay, so this is how it looks, opened up in this direction. And you might want to stick your finger in here as well, if that helps. Because you want to see, these are your folds you just did right here. Those last folds makes this nice square. So you want to open up the top, the head, enough so that you can see these folds you just did, the square. And then what you're going to do once you've opened it up is essentially you're going to be pinching to reinforce those folds that you just did on either side. And kind of pushing. I know it's a little tricky, but you're essentially going to be, you've also got these folds too, so you got these folds and you've got this fold that's making a cross. And what you want to do is kind of like those little, I don't know if you did when you were a child, made those little, kind of fortune things. But you could see I'm making a little bit of a mess. But maybe work on one side first. So we've got this creased, we've got this fold here, make that crease, then go to the next one, kind of pinch here, make that crease, and then go to your last crease. Okay, so basically it's kind of a funky thing. This isn't easy to do by any stretch of the imagination. Okay, so we're starting again. We got this crease, we got this crease, and we've got all these creases. So let's just go one end at a time. We're pinching here. And we're also trying to get this crease in here because we want to get it together. I want to make that star. Then we go to the next one, pinch a little bit. Push that in. Make that end. And then the other end should really kind of come with. So now you've got this funky little thing that's the top of this dog's head, essentially. And then you got the little doggy ears. So you can see now, got the little dog ears that are on the side, which you can open up. Boom, boom, once you put it standing. Okay, so we're going to put the dog ears down. And now we're going to work on the tail. So, apologies that this is like not the easiest thing to do, but what's kind of cool is that it makes little ears for the dog, which I think is pretty neat. So now we're going to flip the dog, and we're going to start working on the tail. Put this tip down to this tip, and crease that, and then this nice flat edge, we're going to put that down towards you, and we're going to fold this over here so that you've got a nice sharp corner here, and that this line is about perpendicular with this line. So this is going to be perpendicular with this, and they're going to form a nice sharp tip here. Okay, see that? So again, we're folding this to this, and flip this down so that the head's facing up, and then you're taking this tip and folding it so that this edge is perpendicular to this edge, and that we got a nice sharp tip there. Now we're going to pull this out. We're going to hold it like so, and remember what we did with the nose before, similar thing. So we have this edge folding this way, this fold was the opposite way, and we're essentially going to get, instead of a nose, we're getting a tail this time. Okay, so again, let's do that. So we're pulling it out. This fold we did folds in, but this fold we just did folds out. And what we're trying to do is kind of pinch over here and get this tail out. Okay, and then let's get that all nice and creased. And then the next step is you're just going to kind of lift this skirt up of this little dog and take this edge or this point and this edge, line this edge up with this center line. It might be hard to get your fingers in there. That's why we started with bigger paper. And it doesn't have to be exact, okay? And then turn that over and do the same thing on the other end. So we've opened up the little tail, and we're trying to get this edge over in there. Again, maybe like a pen or a pencil might help to get this in there. So it's a little messy unless you have tiny little fingers. And then crease that really well. Fold it back down. And what do we got? A standing dog with a cute little tail, stubby nose, and some ears. And so if you want, it's not really true origami, but you can put a little eye there. Okay? Well, thank you very much for joining us for the second origami dog, and we'll see you next time.